I think pallet projects are great. They're not only free, but the whole idea of recycling something that's not going to be used for anything else and making it into something useful is not only good for the wallet, but it's good for the environment as well. But the problem is there's not that many pallets around. So today I'm going to help that situation by turning this table into a pallet. In recent conversations with my children, it's obvious that I'm a bit out of touch with the whole recycling philosophy. So as there's such a demand for pallets in these cash-strapped times, I thought I'd do my bit and help put one extra into the system, which will help someone hopefully down the line. So I've got this ex-dining room table that has seen better days and has recently been living in my garden store, not doing much. So an excellent item to upcycle, as my children would say. I first remove all the bolts I see, which releases the legs from the main body. I'm going to need these for the blocks you find in pallets, and although they're just a little bit too big, I'm sure I can cut them down to size. But for now they come in useful as a trestle to hold my tabletop so I can remove any strengtheners on the underside. I start removing any screws I see, while the wildlife that's been making this table their home evacuate as quickly as they can. As well as being screwed, these strengtheners and fillets are also glued, so a bit of force is required to remove each one, as although the glue is still holding, it isn't that strong, so eventually everything comes away reasonably cleanly. The perimeter timber here from the table is slightly thicker, and I'll use that to make the spreader members that take the load from the top slats on a pallet. And the tabletop I'll use to make those top slats. So I first cut off the rebated edge so I can start with a nice clean one to work from. And then I fix a guide onto my saw so I can rip 100mm or 4-inch strips from the top. My trestle table has no bracing here, so everything is a little bit wibbly wobbly and each cut is a bit challenging and maybe not the safest way or the way I would recommend ever using a circular saw. With everything cut, I can collect up all my new pallet pieces and get back into the workshop to continue the build. So I've come inside because now becomes the more important bit, and it's starting to rain out there as well. I've obviously still got to cut these to length, And to make sure that I get everything dimensionally perfect, I brought inside an existing pallet that I've got on mine. I need to measure that, get the dimensions of it so I can cut these to length. And then I need to work on the finish. Now this has got a varnish finish that needs to come off. But I know a friend of mine that did a video all about card scrapers, which I think is probably the best tool to get this varnish off. So I'm going to give them a call. And I've never used a card scraper, so I need to make one. But I think that's probably the way to go. So I need to measure the pallet, cut these to length, and then sort out a card scraper. Here I'm making an E-pallet pallet, or a European pallet, which is 800mm by 1200mm by 104mm. In old money, 2'6" by 4' by 6 inches. I find these a lot easier to deal with, as probably most people do, because you can actually get them in your car. The US and UK standard pallets are an extra 8 inches wider at exactly 1 metre, which is a challenge to get in most vehicles. On the top slats, I first cut a new edge and then measure 1200mm and cut again. Oh yeah, how's it going? I'll tell you what I need. I'm looking to remove some varnish from some timber, so I thought I'd use a scraper. And I remember seeing you put out a video years ago about how to make a scraper, so I thought I'd prick your brains. Yeah, I've got the right piece of steel, burnisher, right? Do you think that would work? Yeah, then turn it over, and then it's ready, is it? Oh, okay. Well, then what? 3 to 5 stroke, hang on a second. 3 to 5 strokes. Sorry? No, it sounded like you said Batman's ears. Oh, you did. We are just talking about a card scraper, aren't we? Yeah, okay. Yeah, hang on, I'm just turning the page over. So, horizontally hooked burr. And then I'm ready to use it, yeah? Oh, thank goodness. Brilliant. Okay, thanks a lot for that. Yeah, see you soon. See you. I think I'll use a belt sander. I put on a new 80 grit belt and I'm just trying to get off as much varnish as I can without taking away any wood and making the slats any thinner. So everything is cut to length and all the varnish has been taken off, or nearly all the varnish, at least enough to get it down to sort of bare wood. So all I really need to do now is assemble it. But just before I do that, I'm just going to give all of it a quick coat of my new proper DIY clear coat, which will protect the wood just for it in case it's out in the open for a long time. This you can buy on my website and you can get a food safe version as well. So now it's just very easy, just give everything quick coat. Once all the slats are treated, I move on to making the blocks. As I said, the legs I have are slightly bigger than I need, but they're covered in both a veneer and a strip of MDF, which if I remove will bring them down to the perfect size of 100mm or 4 inches. This MDF comes off quite easily, although there's lots of brad nails left behind and a few creepy crawlers. These I then cut down into blocks by cutting them with my circular saw on multiple sides until the cut has gone all the way through. With everything cut, I can start assembly. I first fix the bottom slats to the blocks. Here, everything is upside down. I'm just using plain wire round 2-inch nails for this, although the norm on pallets is ring shanked nails, but these are extremely difficult to remove. But I've done this to help out the next owner, whoever picks the pallet up first. And as I'm working on this, I feel that it's nice not only to create something, but also to feel that you're helping out with the whole recycling business. With the 3 main members fixed just with a single nail in each, which means that they can still rotate and rack, I check for square before putting in more nails that will ultimately fix the shape. If you would like to turn your dining room table into a pallet to help others, please find my plans for this on my website, link below, together with a link to my Patreon page where you can sign up to become a Patreon and help support the channel. And in return, you'll get extra weekly videos and behind the scenes insights from the Proper DIY HQ and a host of other benefits, all for just £3 a month. So give it a go, I'm sure you'll find it worth it. Before it leaves the workshop, I need to just finish it off with the ePal logo to make it really look like an authentic pallet. And there it is complete, looking, I think, pretty smart and pallet-like. Really? Thanks for leaving the sign on the floor.